Welcome back to The Independent. The GOP is older and whiter than the Parthenon, and the party is willing to pour tens of millions of dollars into the African-American community to diversify its homogenous base. They're planning on spending $60 million reaching out to the black community. So when it comes to wooing hesitant voters, can Republicans always bet on black? Our panel is back, Deneen and Mark. So what do you think, Deneen? You're a Republican.
Listen, I think it's a great time for libertarians and conservatives to have a frank discussion with black voters. You can talk about the failures of Obama's policies, especially his energy policy, for example, which is harming our country, harming hardworking Americans in the black community where unemployment is double that of white Americans.
And the black lung community in West Virginia and Pennsylvania where they produce a lot of coal.
But listen, coal is cheap, it's reliable, it's plentiful.
Yeah.
And Obama is pushing his green energy agenda, which is not ready for prime time. It's much more expensive, and individuals' pocketbooks are being harmed because their disposable income is being chipped away. These are some of the topics we can talk about to all Americans, but especially Obama's biggest voter base, which are black Americans.
Well, and I know a lot of Republicans trying to appeal to black voters by talking about things like, you know, some conservative social issues which tend to resonate with African-American voters, but you're kind of smiling and shaking your head because you think it's a worthless, fruitless pursuit.
I'm really good at smiling and shaking my head. Look,
you can't. It's kind of weird.
Up on the table here.
That's even more disconcerting than your hands are on the table. Okay?
Look, I don't think the Republicans are going to buy black votes. No matter how much money the Koch brothers spend on,
buying votes, we're educating people.
Right. Okay. So traditionally, Republican candidates have done what's the word? Pathetically among the African American community. I don't think that's going to change until, no matter how many conversations we have, until the public policies that Republicans start supporting are consistent with the economic interests of African Americans, the cultural values of African Americans. You're not going to get a lot of black people voting Republican when you're creating barriers and using, trying to have voter ID laws that disproportionately hurt black communities.
On social media from black conservatives and individuals who are learning about free market, personal responsibility, and how limited government is good for the person.
Now I agree with you on the personal responsibility, and even on the gay marriage and some of the abortion stuff, a lot of more socially conservative African Americans will side with Republicans, but when it comes to the limited government, it doesn't resonate as well. Speak to that, Camille.
Well, obviously the social issues aren't really an obstacle for all of these black voters who are voting for Democrats, who, when they got the opportunity to vote for Barack Obama, did so to a greater degree. I suspect that has something to do with some sort of tribal loyalty that actually motivates votes to continue to vote for Democrats.
Even when it's
well, actually,
it went down 90%.
The percentages went up.
94, but it wasn't.
Like I said, the point that I was actually getting at is it's interesting, the notion that Democratic policies are somehow good for black people when you look at predominantly black places which have been run by Democrats for generations, which are failing miserably.
Detroit,
the
Harlem.
notion that you would actually try to blame Republicans and their conspiracies, or even the Koch brothers, who it's amazing to me that they can be criticized for giving money to the United Negro College Fund. I wouldn't give money to them because I'm more interested in giving money to people on the basis of merit and not the way they happen to look. And that, I think, is the fundamental issue with this $60 million here. If conservatives want to win black voters over, they just need to make a compelling case, not earmark money.
I agree. And why
didn't you pledge $10 million to the Baby Got Back to College Fund?
I did. I did.
That is a worthwhile pursuit, and I applaud you for that as a recipient.
All right. Put her through school.
That's all she wants to do.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill?